One memorable Christmas, not long ago, Santa did something that no one should know, but all of the reindeer were standing about, and one of them blabbed, so the story got out, of how a bit more than just Christmas cheer got into our dear old Santa that year. According to Blitzen, lead reindeer that eve, Santa was delivering at his usual speed. They'd been going since nightfall and were making good time when disaster struck at 9:30. Santa entered a house at 9:30 or about. He entered it sober, but that's not how he came out. As Santa was later heard to explain, the whole sorry event was an account of the pain he'd had in his head for most of the day that an aspirin had refused to make go away. And his head was ready to explode by the time his eyes lit upon that ruby port wine. On a stool near the fireplace, next to a mince pie, that bottle of port caught our Santa's eye. And to clear up his headache, he did what had to be done. He poured out a glassful and downed it in one. And after he'd emptied his sack of its load, he decided he'd have just one more for the road. It got later, and the reindeer outside in the street began to get restless and shuffle their feet. Then Blitzen decided to investigate where Santa had gone and why the long wait. Through the window he peeked. What a nasty surprise! There was Santa asleep next to the mince pies. The bottle was empty, Santa snoring away. Blitzen knew that his job was to now save the day. While staying quite calm, he told the other reindeer that Santa was changing the rules round that year, that the elves, who were normally just there for the ride, would now be allowed to deliver inside. So off they all sped. They had time to make up. The elves rushed around, not believing their luck. What with so much to do, there was no time to think, while Santa was dozing, dreamless from drink. All went quite smoothly, and nobody saw that it was elves and not Santa who came to the door. Just before dawn, they returned to the home where Santa was sleeping by the fire all alone. Blitzen knocked on the window, and Santa finally awoke. But once outside, it was Blitzen who spoke. "I did what you asked, sir," he said with a wink, "and the elves did a wonderful job, don't you think?" Santa was quick, in spite of his head, which was throbbing again from the port ruby red. Quite so," he repeated with cheer. "I thought you should all get a chance this year to show what you can do if an emergency arose. I mean, if I fell ill or broke one of my toes." But much later on, once they were home, Santa waited till Blitzen was all on his own, and promised him solemnly that next time they were out, he'd drink only milk. Of that there was no doubt. Yes, it was much better, Blitzen agreed, if Santa was sober each Christmas Eve. Perhaps you might wonder, now the story is done, how it is that I know just what went on. Well, I once met a reindeer up on the hill, and they invited him in from the frosty night chill. And Blitzen was so cold that after a time I offered him a big glass of ruby port wine.